Yo, what's up, fam? Um, I'm getting back up on here and going ahead and finish up my conversation that I had earlier about, how a lot of men view women and them being less significant. The same thing what I used to think, that I used to think my women were, their place where it was belonging in the house, in the kitchen, doing their thing, you know what I'm saying, doing the housework and cooking the food and all that stuff. Well, I'm gonna get back on the food thing. From my understanding, there was I think it was Isaac, I want to say Isaac, who had a son, Esau, and Jacob. All right, Isaac was old at his old age, and he wanted his son, Jacob, to cook him some, some wild game. Let's say it was deer meat, or horse and pepper. I don't know. I can't even think about it right now because everything I'm doing right now is coming off top of the head. But Isaac had a son named Jacob. Jacob can get down in the kitchen, and on Isaac, in his final dinner, he wanted his son to cook, because he knew how to cook. He knew how to do down in the kitchen. He knew how to get down with the soup and stew and everything. Get the mashed potatoes, gravy, and get down in the kitchen. Have a little salad in there. Ooh. No, let me stop. No, but he knew how to get down in the kitchen. This is why I say men are supposed to be the cooks. If you want to look at it biblically, All right. So if you say to me that, how do I know all this stuff like that? First of all, I just said, if you look at the Bible in Genesis, I believe Genesis 27 or something like that, and it was talking about how Isaac basically wanted his son to cook him some, wild game or whatever. He didn't want his wife to cook. Although his wife probably could get down in the kitchen, but he wanted his son to cook. Men are to cook, okay? Men has the grace to have a taste bud to see what he wants. Taste. He got taste. God gave us taste, sense of taste. So that's one thing that we need to go ahead and use, our sense of taste, if we don't know how to cook. How else, you know what I'm saying, as young folks and people who are becoming men and being on their own, how else you supposed to survive if you don't know how to cook? You better go ahead and get you some pork and beans. That's what my pops used to say. Get you some pork and beans, boy. Learn how to fix some pork and beans, you know what I'm saying? I learned how to cook some pork and beans. Believe me. I went on ahead, and one year I went to the dollar store. Pick me up some pork and beans in a can. Brought it to the crib. I threw my seasonings and all that stuff in the pork and beans. I didn't know how would I get down with pork and beans. I wanted to turn into, gourmet. So I threw all my garlic seeds in there. I threw all my, green vegetable or whatever, or herbs and spices up in it. I turned around and tasted the food. I'm like, oh my God, I ain't never tasted pork and beans like this. And no, it wasn't a canned seasoning. It was yours truly seasoning. But yeah, men are to cook, and we need to understand that we can't put our women, label our women the way we have learned throughout the years of what women should do, because that wasn't what women should do or women to be like. You know, we gotta be, be men. We gotta be leaders. And how else do you think Adam, when he was with God in Eden, before he made Eve, how you think he was eating? God gave him the herbs of the field, gave him the vegetables of the field, gave him the animals. Although he didn't start eating animals until later on, but God gave him all the fixings, so he had to be up in the garden. God had to been showing him how to cook food. I mean, just like my daddy showed me how to cook, showed me how to throw in seasonings. Even though he didn't measure with the measuring cup all the way, somehow he selected the amount to put into dishes, and it came out just right. That's black people cooking. You don't know nothing about that. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, that's how I get that. But men are supposed to cook. Men are supposed to be leaders. Men are supposed to be the ones teaching. Before a person get married or be interested in anyone, we have to be teachers. We have to be able to teach. We have to be able to show an individual, not just a female, just anybody. We have to be teachers. That's what God called us to be as men. We could never move to a next level if we wasn't a teacher, if we didn't learn from the things that we experienced. We wouldn't be able to, teach anybody if we wouldn't have learned from what we experienced. Other people couldn't learn. Our children couldn't have learned, some of the next steps in life. But like I said, we are to, be cooks. We are to be teachers. And all this stuff was we were called up in the Garden of Eden with Adam. We have to understand that our wives are not our slaves. Our girlfriends are not our slaves. We don't just put them in the kitchen. Some of them, they are born in the kitchen. There's some of them that's born in the kitchen because they have been raised by parents or a mother who taught them how to cook. And a lot of times, some of those women are better than us at cooking. And our place is not in the kitchen. But if we got that whole mindset that, women is all the time supposed to be in the kitchen, I'm not going to be up in the kitchen and I'm not going to do anything, I'm just going to let her do all that. Let's get that out of our head. Let's get that out of the head. Alright, bet. I know it's about to go dead right now, but I'll holler at y'all in a second. I'm going to do a part 2 or part 3 on this, alright?